Dedina played a key role in the conservation of 2 million hectares of coastal and marine ecosystem in Baja California and Alta California. He's the founder and executive director of Wildcoast. Serge has received the SEMA Environmentalist of the Year Award, the California Coastal Commission Coastal Hero Award, and the San Diego Zoological Society's Conservation Medal for his work. Serge is also a regular guest lecturer in the Sustainable Tourism Program here at San Diego State, and we're pleased to welcome him back in a slightly different format. Thank you.
All right, great. It's great to be here. Thanks, Justin, for inviting me. It's great to talk to so many people and see so many people whose work I admire. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about surfers making a difference. And of course, since Fernando's here, I have to talk about sex. Essentially, Fernando's interviewed the San Diego Union, which is brilliant, really talking about how sex and capitalism, I guess, drive the planet. But really, sex not only saving turtles, how saving trestles, how surfers can make a difference. And I run Wildcoast, and I started Wildcoast with Jay Nichols in 2000. Today we have 20 employees. We're bi-national, so we're incorporated in the United States, and all the stuff that Gary was talking about for the United States, we also do in Mexico. We're incorporated in Mexico. We're a bi-national organization. We have an office in Ensenada, a field office in Cabo, and one in Acapulco. And our mission is to conserve coastal and marine ecosystems and wildlife. We're not a surf-saving organization. We're not a surf organization. We're a biodiversity conservation organization. We're an ecosystem and wildlife organization. Our conservation objectives are to save amazingly beautiful coastal and marine ecosystems, and then the wildlife, whether they're white sharks or sea turtles that thrive there. I'm also a shameless self-promoter, so everything I'm talking about today can be found in my new book, Wild Sea, and it's back there and you can buy it. So all of you guys should buy it. It's actually really, really good. So let's just get started. I grew up in Imperial Beach, in LA, Imperial Beach, on the beach. My parents were immigrants, and they came to this country, both war refugees, and with this idea that, we're really lucky we get to go to the beach. And my dad said, I felt like a Hollywood movie star hanging out in Malibu in the 60s with my kids on the beach, right? A lot better than, World War II in Europe. And my parents were adventurous, so we spent quite a bit of time south of the border. And in 1974, my parents embarked on a trip to El Salvador. My dad got a job with USAID. And so we were traveling as a hippie family in a van throughout Central America and Mexico, seeing some really, really amazing stuff. But also for me is the fact that what we do is in eastern El Salvador, where the guerrillas were, during the Civil War, were really operational. What opened my eye as part of this work, and my dad's work, and then where we live in, was essentially the profound poverty that I saw, and really understanding the dynamic between environmental degradation and poverty in the developing world, especially in places like El Salvador, which after this had a revolution and the Civil War, southern Mexico, Chiapas, Oaxaca, Guerrero, just an amazing poverty. And sort of the lie about everyone smiling and happy, waving their face, and anytime they got guns about going to armed revolution, which was the case back in Guatemala and El Salvador back then. After we came back and we were in Imperial Beach, we started going to Baja. And again, what I really became entranced with, besides just surfing, was the absolute sort of friendliness and also sort of interesting position of the coastal communities in Baja. People who made a living from their daily contact with the ocean, lobster villages and abalone villages throughout Baja California, that seem to be doing a pretty good job of it and hadn't had much of an impact on their environment. But the other thing that had a really big impact for me, and I know for a lot of folks, and Chad Evans, Chad is a surf writer, can't really develop this argument about shifting baselines. And the idea did a great video about it. And really the argument is that we keep thinking that what we see now is the new normal. So hyperdeveloped coastline pollution, we think that's normal. But what Chad and a lot of scientists have talked about, Jeremy Jackson and Sturgis, we really need to go back to 500 years to understand what the coast of California was like, or the Caribbean was like, or the coast of Mexico was like pre-contact. Right? To really get an idea of what these ecosystems were like and what we can aspire to when we talk about restoration work, which is really important. And I have this picture of Jensen Holder here, who's one of the pioneer surfers in California from Imperial Beach, because really I was lucky enough to interview a lot of pioneering surfers back in the 90s and wrote an article about it that's in my book, and really got an understanding of not just the fact that they got great surf, but these guys talked about the fact that they saw Southern California when it was in its prime. They could go diving at Dana Point, footage and read there and get great big lobster and abalone, and really understood the profoundly the losses, the changes they'd seen. We'll talk a little bit about surfer activism, but the old school surfer activism is what I grew up with in Imperial Beach, and that's Brian Bilbray and stopping us, trying to stop us from sitting in front of bulldozers to dam the Tupana estuary. Brian Stein's now a council member in Imperial Beach, and we work together. So that's cool. Surfers always can fight and get along, but that was really typical surfer activism back. This is the 1970s, late 1970s, sitting in front of bulldozers. On this picture on the right, Jim Knox was one of the early board members of Surf Riders on the left there. Or, protesting the pollution in Imperial Beach. It didn't go much beyond that. We didn't have the sophisticated surfing attorneys like Gary and Mark here at Coastal Ag Group to really assist us strategically, or even like when Gary helped pass the what's it called, the beach bill back in, I think, in the 90s. That kind of connection between this activism and the more strategic surf conservation hadn't really happened. Thankfully, it has, and I'll talk a little bit about that right now. One of the most important concepts that we have at Wildcoast, and I think a lot of folks have, and it's really Garth Berkeley, who's one of Rusty's friends, has talked about is surf spots as ecosystems. And it's really important to understand that the great surf spots in Southern California, whether it's Trussels or cliffs, or Malibu, those are ecosystems. And very important ecosystems, not just for surfers, but for wildlife, for watersheds, for water quality. And that if we want to save these ecosystems and these surf spots, we had better become really good at understanding the totality of these areas. The Tupana estuary in Imperial Beach, where I live, where I'm a local, and where we're working to conserve and restore the area, and which included helping create a marine protected area last year. And we're happy about that because we have a reef when it's not polluted outside the Tupana estuary. It has really good surf a few times a year. It's a great spot when it's not polluted. But before that marine protected area process went through, we had a hard time articulating why that reef was important for conservation to a lot of different agencies that want to do things there. The other important concept that all of us who are dealing with surfing tourism or surfing in general, surfers in general, and also, obviously, conservation work is this idea from going from me to me. And we all know that, arguably, surfers can be some of the most selfish people on the planet. Because, I'll never forget these guys saying, dude, it doesn't matter if we save Trussels, screw Trussels, it's super crowded. And, I look at Trussels from the perspective of, and the thing about that is, I look at Trussels now from the perspective of my children, who are 13 and 15. When we started going to Trussels when they were kids, actually part of this whole Save Trussels movement, they think Trussels, as far as my kids are concerned and friends, Trussels is like Baja. Trussels is an experience. Trussels is an adventure. So, I've had all the lures with 50 guys, and I'm like, catch 4 or 5 waves, have good conversations. But then, they're focusing on, oh yeah, I saw a dolphin. Oh yeah, oh, the white sharks out there. Oh, there's birds over there. Oh, we're walking through the forest. And that's something that's really important, that you go beyond just me and thinking about, well, how's that family enjoying Trussels? How's that family enjoying camping at San Mateo? And at Wildcoast, we're going beyond the individual to how do we help families? How do we work with families? And more importantly, in Mexico, this is in Imperial Beach, how do we work with communities, right? And more importantly, what is a community? And then, more importantly, if you're going to save a surf spot or an ecosystem in Baja, how do you strategically work with that community? Not to help the community, but to help the community preserve the resource that depends on it for livelihood. I like Dave Jenkins' philosophy, hand up, not hand out. Because it's very easy to go to the developing world and surf give, right? Here's a surfboard, here's a wetsuit, here's some money. And you really, really have to start focusing on building capacity, training, working with folks to train themselves how to get their own work, right? Not being the white guy that rides on you do it. It's a very, very hard concept. This village in Punta Arenas in Mexico, they don't need our help. They never help stopping Mitsubishi or big developers, but they have some of the most sustainable fishing practices in North America. We actually need their help. And we learned a lot from this process. The other thing that's really important when you go work in the developing world, this is in southern Mexico, in Michoacan, one of the most drug and violence-ridden areas in North America, is that you really have to understand the dynamic and context that you're walking into. You cannot walk in naive. This is an Indian community that has been buffeted by violence. Despite that, they developed a very successful seafood reserve. And I didn't do the work that the folks that we work with in southern Mexico. We're from Mexico, very, very nuanced and deep understanding of Mexican politics, and how you have to make things happen in Mexico to make that community work. I was amazed in southern Oaxaca this summer, where my family was considered one of the safest places in Mexico, with the Chontal communities that are from basically south of Huatulco, Baja La Cruz to the south, made a very determined effort. They don't want development there at all. In Baja La Cruz, arguably one of the best search spots on the planet, they are not going to allow development at all, hopefully. They charge everybody 20 pesos access to the beach. The community runs the flop on the beach. They're not allowing development on the beach. If you live in that community, you have to contribute every Sunday to the collective work in that community. And right now, as far as I understood from the summer, they're not allowing foreigners to live in the community anymore. They had, I think people were grandfathered in. You know, they have little hotels, etc., but they're not interested in outside measures of development. They're interested in making sure that surfing tourism corresponds to their culture and economy and livelihoods. It's a very interesting change what happened with Rick Wilford. It was a few years ago. And I think as a result of a lot of the controversy that Kimber Taylor had reported on, and some of the same issues that Steve reported on as well. And this is another community south there that that Steve reported on. But this community, for example, was not, it's south of there, they own one of the best flight points in North America. And they're two feet better. It's also one of the most important seafood and nesting sites in North America. They're not interested in hotels, but they are interested in having people go there. And that's the whole contradiction of surfing tourism and Indian conservation. For me, I want people to go to this spot because I have an interest in having this community make money by saving this land and then having tourists go there sustainably. Most surfers will say, don't tell anybody, regardless of the fact this community is living in poverty. So I think that's one of the contradictions of the work we do. I want people to travel to places to spend their money sustainably in low-income communities and have a positive impact. There's a lot of surfers want to say, don't tell anybody about that spot. And that's something that, Just in deference to Fernando, one of the things that's really important to do when you're working in the developing world with other cultures is really understand other cultures. And I talk about sex now, but we're trying to save sea turtles, and people talk people eating sea turtles and sea turtle eggs in Mexico. So we got an Argentine-born Playboy cover girl to talk about how my man doesn't eat sea turtle eggs to make them more intelligent. Right? And it's a very huge campaign carried out by women, very successful, reported on by the New York Times. But that is it. We took Dory tomorrow, who was the campaign spokesperson in Miami, and she won on New Stone. And anyway, just gonna go. I have 1 minute left. And the idea here is, at the end, strategic surf conservation. We've got to go from surfers to stewards. We need to go from me to we and really talk about saving ecosystems and surf spots, strategically develop across the planet. We need to take those 100 spots that surfers listen to the best place in the world and make sure there are 100 teams to make sure they never get screwed up. Because we can't afford to have organizations like the TCA dictate to us what will happen in those surf spots. Finally, this is to say, Surf+Research did a brilliant job on the Safe Trussels campaign. Everything that we had learned as activists came together at the Safe Trussels movement with the legal expertise, the policy and advocacy expertise, the community building expertise. Even the surf industry did a brilliant job of making sure that people understood the economic value of trussels to the regional economy. And finally, in Baja, we've decided to take a stand and really make sure that some of the best surf spots and coastal ecosystems there remain undeveloped and great surf spots and ecosystems. So as a result of pressure and things like marinas, we've taken the last chunk of the Baja California coastline, 100 miles, what's called the Seven Sisters, and we're systematically buying up all the watersheds for 100 miles. So right now, at the end of the year, we'll save 30 miles of coastline. We also own 30 miles of coastline and about 30,000 acres. And so it's the equivalent of basically buying up every surf spot 150 years ago from the U.S.-Mexican border to San America, or to San Clemente. The results right now, 20 miles, 20,000 acres. We have another 10,000 acres on the table. And we own some of the best right now sandbar places in the world. There are also amazing wildlife habitats And our philosophy is they will never ever be developed. There will be public access there. We're going to manage them, whether it's invasive plant removal, putting up signs, educating surfers about why they shouldn't throw their trash there, and to make sure that at some place on the planet there exists surf spots on the coastline that exist the way it should exist, which is wild and undeveloped, where people can have access to those resources, enjoy them responsibly, and finally help local people benefit from those activities. So that's it. One thing that's important, Steve's article that came out in Surf+, a profoundly important article. It was really the first time that people had examined some of these issues between surfing colonialism, and then more importantly, what's important about that is to see the aftermath of that and see how the surf industry really responded positively with the rise of survey and the whole humanitarian ethos now of surf philanthropy, which I think is really positive. So I think that was a great start. It is important to be constructive. It is important to be critical, but it's important to figure out how to have dialogue, like we saw on that panel, so that we can, instead of screaming each other, we can sort of work together and develop solutions.
Has anybody a question for Serge?
All right, Ms. Kimball, sign on to that question.
Well, this is something I don't think has really been directed yet, but it could have been answered by the panel earlier, is access rights. We are speaking in a state that has strong access rights to the coast. Your organization works with access rights. Yet in surf tourism, some of the most successful models have been built on exclusivity. And so I'm wondering how we negotiate that as a community going forward.
Yeah, what I think is interesting is that John what I think the issue of Tauru is really going beyond access to management. And so I think it needs to start, I think we need to look at, well, first of all, I'm a big believer in public access to the coast. I think we have an intrinsic right to have access to coastal marine resources. I think how that's negotiated in certain countries can be different, but I think that has to be a principal right. At least in our own country, in Mexico, it's a constitutional right in theory to have access to the coast. Those Chontal communities, for example, in Mexico, they're not going to restrict access. They just want to make sure that access benefits the community, which I think is a different concept. But when it comes to surf resorts, I think we need to move back away from the issue of access and talk about the management part, and more importantly, integrating locals into that management part, and then making sure that the activities have a minimal impact on the resource. In this case, maybe the reef or other resources. So I think that's really, really important. Now, the whole issue of this exclusive access was interesting because I went down to southern Oaxaca, having heard rumors about surf companies trying to exclude visiting, surfers who are on their own, like my family, from these surf spots. Well, it turns out there's levels of access and localism in Mexico. And so the deal was, a lot of those Chontal communities are reacting to what they perceive as the outside, quote, Mexican non-indigenous surf companies basically taking advantage of them and their resources. So it's going to be very interesting to see how things play out in southern Mexico, because what these communities are saying is those companies have to pay us as well. And we have to make sure that we don't restrict access, but that we make sure that access benefits locals. So I think that has to be part of it as well. I don't think surfers have a right to have access to do anything. I think right now in Baja, for example, in our areas, the whole philosophy is I can do anything I want in this area. And I think what we're going to slowly try to do, it's not easy to say, hey, there's going to be a regulatory framework in terms of how you have to manage yourselves to be able to have the right to use this place. It doesn't mean we're going to kick anybody out, but we definitely want to start sort of developing a set of policies and management guidelines so that really surfers have a lot less impact. Because the fact is, the biggest impact that people have on there is from surfers, in addition to fishermen. So I hope that answers your question. I think the issue is very complicated, but definitely what's not helpful is having surfers go around the world basically buying up coastline fencing off and selling away their saving here. Because ultimately what we saw at Trussell says, when you have engaged constituents and communities who are invested in surf spots, they help save them. When you have private access areas with multi-millionaire landowners, they very rarely take steps to save those coastal resources in the face of very, very, very powerful political opposition. So,
on that topic, in terms of outside investors coming in and surfers basically taking over and creating what I call a gringo ghetto, past, the locals have been uneducated about it. They don't know what they own.
Right.
Like I heard that Punta Lobos, basically the whole place was sold for a horse at the time. Do you feel at this point that because of the internet and worldwide communication that the information is getting out there, that they realize the resource they have, they're not going to be taken in by the first guy who comes up with an apple or motor or something?
I think definitely it's a lot harder. I think local communities have more access to the information. I think what's happened though is that there's just been a lot more proliferation of NGOs and then savvy surfers who can assist communities in making sure that that kind of stuff doesn't happen. It's still, at the end of the day, remember, there are multinationals with unlimited resources who literally have put pins on the map saying, that's next. Whether it's Northwest Australia. So it's not just, a surf company, this is the interesting thing about that video about the $7 billion industry. Trader Joe's is a $1 billion industry. I mean, the surf industry is a very small industry compared to the oil industry or the liquefied natural gas industry. So, I think our job is to work with the surf industry to make sure that, we can work sustainably in a realistic way. And ultimately, a 5-condo surf resort isn't as much of a threat as Chevron Texaco coming in with liquefied natural gas terminal. And what I mean by that is, I think right now there's probably more of an opportunity as ever to make sure that those resorts or outsiders that come in can work equitably in an equitable way with all this happens. But I think because of because that NGOs can be, like Stableways in Chile, for example, might be intermediaries, there's more of a chance of that might happen than before. But you always have to look at, again, what's the biggest threat? A surf resort, there's the threat to guys having, uncrowded waves. Or the big threats, which are, the Chilean forestry companies, or the salmon companies, or the dam activities. Those are the levels you have to look at. And in those cases, the surf companies have to be allies with local people in fighting those projects.
Okay, one last question.
I got another tough question coming from Glenn. Sorry.
Well, one of the things that's kind of troubling me is we're constantly referring to the surf industry and the surf companies. I like to see them basically as people in the clothing business who have a really good hook. Okay, and if you look at VF, they're a monstrous company. Quicksilver is publicly traded. Their responsibilities aren't to the environment.
Right.
As Gordon Merchant once said, I'm not here to give away money, I'm here to make money. Okay. Have you felt any significant change in the way the Garmentos who surf are dealing with their philanthropic responsibilities?
Yeah, I think the panel was really good. I've only been in this business being funded by the surf industry. We get money from SEMA, which funds our work in Syria, our project manager to work there. It's much more strategic. It's much more deliberate. It's much more thoughtful. I think I was very impressed with the panel. I don't expect, for example, I work with a lot of in the real world. I don't expect any industries to give money back for anything. So I'm very impressed with SEMA boards, for example. I know they have a little process. They vet you. They make sure that actually, you spend the money, you get the money, you're able to spend it strategically, have an impact. So I think definitely there's been an evolution. I think the evolution of the humanitarian arm of SEMA is really positive. To be honest with you, I'm always jealous of the quality of work the surffighter do because these guys are so great at marketing and doing so many different types of cause-related projects. So ultimately, I think it's really important though for people not to start NGOs and someone put their hand out and expect the surf industry to give them money. I think that's the wrong way to approach things. I think it's much more effective to really develop a strong organization on the administrative and finance management side, as well as being very mission-driven and very results-oriented. And then, if you're able to, then go to the surf industry and say, okay, we're going to compete like everybody else for a grant. So I guess the answer to your question is surf industry is definitely improving the way it's engaged in the positive plan. It's done a much better job. I think corporations on a whole, foundations on a whole, are being much more strategic and smart about philanthropy in general. And I think the surf industry is going through is just resemble that as well.
Thank you very much, Serge Dedina.